was coming from the portal back to my body. Then it says this one came before the first season of 2025. So
which one came?
That's how it was.
Okay, so this one came, but so you don't know what came?
Yes, if it's the first flag or this chair. It says this one came before the first season of 2025, so as to prepare the next 3 seasons to come. Nigeria will experience trial, but it will shine as the significance of the lights coming from the church. So the church will have to carry the burden of the nation. And they said each preparation is welcome to our coming king.
I will come back to this last thing you said. Okay, good evening everyone. My name is Chukwemeka Samuel, Pastor of Shekinah Assembly, Nnewi branch. This is my daughter, my first daughter, Olivia. Olivia is just 13 years, but she's a godly child. She has known the Lord from the time she was a child, and she has been having encounters. I didn't bother myself, documenting these encounters until they started getting so serious. And I believe that part of what I owe as a father, and also because of the weight of the visions and revelations and encounters, I believe that we need to start documenting them for those that may be instructed by the things that the Lord is showing her. So I will not take us back to all the previous encounters she has had, but I will just mention just one she had earlier this year in January. Just as the year was starting, the Lord gave her a vision, very strange vision, and those visions pertain to the nations. And I was worried in my thoughts. I was asking the Lord, how would He be showing a small child like this, 12 years, about things about nations? What she's going to do with it? How is it her business? I had to share some of those visions with my friends who are apostles, who are prophets, evangelists, pastors, and all of them attest to the fact that this is a vision from God. Just last month, she had a follow-up vision, and at that point I now felt like, no, I have to document this, even if we don't get it out, but it's important that it is documented, because I believe that visions are not yet done. There are more are still going to be coming. Okay, so I will just be interviewing her just for you to have a scope. So Olivia, you had a vision that you sent me. You did a video and you sent to me. What was the vision about? What happened?
Okay. In the vision, I saw where we were. It was in an open field, and
okay. Sorry, for cutting you in. Were you praying? What were you doing?
Yes, we were praying. We're having a service in church.
And I was talking about the vision you had in January.
Yes.
The one you sent for me in January. It happened in church?
Yes.
I thought you said you were reading Matthew 24 and you slept and had a dream.
A dream. No, there were 2 visions I had that day.
Okay.
The first one was when I was reading Matthew 24.
Okay, which let's get that one first. The one you.
That first one I can't remember. The book I wrote it go missing.
Okay. So I remember you said something about you were reading Matthew 24. You slept off. You read Matthew 24. You prayed and slept off. Then you had a dream. There was an open field. I thought the dream came while you were sleeping.
It's the first. I had 2. The first one was when I was reading Matthew and I slept off. Then we prayed, because we were praying by 9, 12, 3. Then we went to church that evening. Then Anna had this one. Then I shared it in church. Anna came back and did the video.
Okay, which one did you not have in church?
It's that one I said I saw in an open field.
Okay.
And in the open field, there were different flags of countries. There were flags of different nations. So it was just an open field.
Okay, you saw an open field with a whole lot of flags of different nations. Okay.
Then a mighty storm came and it blew everywhere. Then earthquake came. Then wind came. Then the sun came. Rain came. Then while that was happening,
they were just coming in sessions. The storm, the rain, the wind, the sun, going through the field while those flags were there. Okay.
And that was going on. The flags some were falling, some bent, some tall. Then I saw the Nigerian flag. It was still standing firm to the ground, and the American flag was looking worn out, bent upon the Nigerian flag. And it was not just the Nigerian flags, but other foreign countries were bent on some of the African flags to stand as support.
Okay. So, you could notice those African. How do you know they were African flags?
It's a knowing. I just had inside that it's an African flag.
Okay, so you knew in your heart that these flags are African nations.
Yes.
And why is that wind blew and that storm came and the rain, the sun, everything? Some flags were falling off, some were torn, some were worn out. You noticed that some African flags were standing. And whilst they were standing, other flags of other foreign nations were leaning on them.
Yes.
And Nigerian flag was standing and the American flag was leaning on Nigerian flag. Okay.
Then that was what I had LDC.
Okay.
Then the one I had last month was we're in a service and our pastor, Pastor Timatuka, was talking about the next year, that is 2025, being a corrosive year, and the fact that Donald Trump's election was marking a new statement in the spirit. Then I was now taken into a trance. Then I saw what
happened. You know, why do you call it a trance?
Because it was like I came out from my body.
Okay.
And then I saw a portal.
What do you mean by a portal?
It's just like it's a circle ring where light is coming from.
Okay.
So I walked through it and entered the field where I was last year.
The moment you came out of your body, you saw something like looked like a ring, and it was assuming light. You entered through that ring. You find yourself in that field where you were like, okay.
So then I saw exactly what I saw early this year. Then immediately after that, then it's just in a knowing that could tell that it's just how it was in my head, that 4 seasons had passed, and after the 4 seasons, the American flag was a hand that was stitching the torn or the tears he had on it, and it was still bent on the Nigerian flag.
Okay, so when you appeared on that field, did you start seeing the passing of the wind, or the storms, of the rain? You saw it the way you had seen it before, and then you knew that from what you are seeing now, 4 seasons had passed, and where you are now, you saw a hand stitching the tear that was on the American flag, but it was still bent on Nigeria. Okay.
So as it was stitching it, the tear began to show on the Nigerian flag.
So that hand was stitching the American flag, but you wouldn't that the tear was not showing on the Nigerian flag.
For instance, let me use my hand for example. This is American flag, this is Nigerian flag. If I had a cut on this hand, that is the American flag, and I am stitching it, the cut will be appearing on this hand.
So as it's being stitched here,
yes, it's appearing.
The cut is seen here, not stitched.
Yes.
Not stitched.
Yes.
Okay.
So as it was happening like that, the Nigerian flag was still firm more than other flags, and it begins to, from that tear, light was passing through it.
Okay. From that tear that was coming out of it as American flag was being stitched, light, something like rays of glory began to come out from there.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was what I had. Then immediately after that, I heard the emergence of men. Then I heard, men shall arise, and according to...
How do you hear it?
Like I said, it's just like sometimes some comes as someone is speaking to me in my heart, and some is just like it's echoing everywhere. Like
the sound is coming from everywhere. Like you imagine everybody's hearing it.
But it's just that I know it's only me that is there. So it said, men shall arise, and according to the price and their inputs, new rankings. Then in an open field, I saw it had...
Okay, these are not, you entered another vision in, okay, not the field now different from the one that you saw those flags.
It's a different one. It was an open field, but it had pillars. The pillars, you could not see where it went. You could not see, just a field, but there were pillars.
Why do you say it's a field?
Because it was vast, it was open.
Does it have grasses?
No. but it
So
is
it's not
a ground.
field. Okay, it's not a auditorium.
Yes.
But it has a pillar.
It doesn't have a covering.
Okay, it doesn't have a roof. Okay.
So it was rows, like there were chairs that were set
in rows. Okay.
Yes. But how the chair was set is that from the first row, they were like thrones. They were mighty thrones for the first row. Then the second rows was still a throne, but you could not compare to the first. Then the third, you could not compare to the second.
Okay. The seats were set in rows, and the whole field was covered with those seats. And then from the front, there were mighty thrones, but behind them are seat thrones, but not as glorious as the first one. So as you're going down, the rank, the weight or the beauty or the glory of the thrones were going down. Okay.
Then
were there people sitting on the?
There were chairs that were empty. There were chairs where people were sitting then on top.
Okay.
Then the chairs, the first seat was designed with a lot of gems of different kinds, and it was fuming out smoke like it was burning.
The front seat?
Yes.
Gems, you mean like that precious stones?
Okay. Yes. Then I saw our Bishop Vindolo. He took, from where he was sitting, they took him 7 rows forward from where he was.
He was behind. So he came for. Who you say they took him? Who are they?
They were 2 beings. They were very strange, but I could not see their face, but I could see their body structure and all that. So they were ushering him.
Okay, they were acting like ushers. Okay.
So
they were ushering him forward.
And they were also.
You say seven rows forward. How do you know it's 7 rows? You were counting it out.
From where I was standing, I could. There's a space between every row. So just looking, you could tell it's 7. That's how it was.
He came and sat down.
Yes.
They brought him 7 rows forward. So where that 7 row is or was, whichever one now, is to the where the front is. There's still much.
Yes, there's still a lot to cover.
Okay.
Then there were also men of God that were being ushered forward.
Do you know any of them you can remember?
Okay, like I said, I saw Apostle Edu, and
you saw how many rows forward did he move?
I just saw they were ushering people, so I just got a glimpse of him and then Bishop
Omeke. That's my friend Moses.
Yeah.
Okay. He was being brought forward too. But why didn't you notice how their own movement, like where?
I won't say there was a crowd, but there were a lot of movements going on. So I was just trying to cover up a lot I could see. So I didn't really focus my attention on them.
Okay.
Then there were some men that were being ushered backwards.
Backwards?
Yes.
Like the same way they brought them forward, they took them backwards.
Some people backward.
Why would they take people backward? Would you know? Did you have any consciousness?
They said what keeps the chair producing more glory is the oil still burning on their lamp. So the moment the oil stop burning, they are demoted, or the moment like the fume coming out from the oil reduces, they are demoted, so they are taking them backward. Okay, for instance, let's say a bowl of fire is here, and it was given to me, and I was to, if I added more wood to the fire, the fumes coming out will increase. So that is me going forward. So at a point, the wood will burn almost to ashes and the fire will reduce. So once the fire reduces, I'm taking backward. If it reduces to the point where I started, I'll go back to where I started from.
That's how you understood it. Did anybody explain this to you, or you just
that voice that said men shall arise according to you have said what keeps the chair producing. So at that point, what came to my mind was this: if that bowl, like what I eat for example.
So the seat has a bowl.
I'm just using the bowl.
Okay.
For example.
So you say the seat is bringing out what?
Like flames, where you
coming out from the seat. So if the flame is going down, they take you back. That means you're not maintaining the glory of that seat.
Yes.
Okay. And what is the qualification for those that bring it forward?
Like, is as far as your oil is still burning and producing more glory.
Maybe more glory than where you are.
Yes.
Okay.
Then immediately after that, it's like I was coming from the portal back to my body. Then it says this one came before the first season of 2025. So
which one came?
That's how it was.
Okay, so this one came, so you don't know what came.
Yes, if it's the first flag or this chain. It says this one came before the first season of 2025, so as to prepare the next 3 seasons to come. Nigeria will experience trial, but it will shine as the significance of the lights coming from the church. So the church will have to carry the burden of the nation. And they said each preparation is welcome to our coming king.
I will come back to this last thing you said. Who told you this last thing you said? It's very important.
You see the same voice.
He spoke inside of you, or you felt it around you?
It was perfect around.
The voice was all around you. Say it again, read it again. He said what?
This one came before the first season.
This one came before the first season. Okay.
Of 2025. So as to prepare the next 3 seasons to come.
So there is 4 seasons.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yes, when I said in that field, I thought that 4 seasons had passed. So they said what happened will come before the first season to prepare the next 3 seasons to come.
I hope I'll find a way to process this. Okay, so this came before the first season of 2024, 2025. So as to prepare the next 3 seasons to come. Okay.
Nigeria will experience trial, but it will shine as the significance of the lights coming from the church. So I assume maybe that court that it was having on the flag, or the lights coming out from the church.
Wait. Okay. So Nigeria will experience what?
Trials.
But it will what?
It will shine.
It will shine as a result of what?
The lights coming from
the light. So the church need to shine. Okay, all right.
So the church will have to carry the burden of the nation.
The church will have to carry the burden of the. So the burden of this nation is the church that's supposed to carry it. That's what the voice told you. Okay.
Then the last one was each preparation is to welcome our coming king.
So all this whole thing is to welcome the return of our Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, friends, this is amazing, and I don't know what you make out of it, and I'm not going to try to explain. Even though as I'm making this video, I'm not sure I'm going to put it out, but let's see what the Lord will do. I hope you find a way to analyze this, and of course, a 13-year-old girl will not make this up. I'm amazed by the depth. When she was sharing with me earlier, when she just had this revelation, I mean, it was all glorious listening to her. And I believe that God will have a lot of other things to show as the days unfold. Let the church rise and bear the burden of the nation, and let the glory of the nation be released as she begins to fulfill her purpose in the leagues of nations, bearing burdens of nations. And I believe that there is a mandate of the nation of Nigeria, and together all of us are going to stand to bear that burden. God bless you for your time. I would like to hear from you if you have had a similar visitations, instructions. I know this season, ending of the year, beginning of the new year, this vision, why I'm interested in it is because it's talking about 2025, and he said this first one he showed us is going to be happening within the first seasons of it. So 2025 probably will have up to a lot of seasons, and our heart is open to follow with the Lord. So I don't know what 2025 is going to look like presently as we are here, but we are ready to prepare spiritually for it. Of course, 24th to 31st, we are calling for 7 hours prayer every night from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. I'm not yet sure now it's going to be online. All right, I don't know, but what I do know that we are making it open for those who want to attend physical meetings. in our church at Shekinah Assembly in Newe, 61 Old Onitsha Road. Every 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. that's 7 hours, and it's open for everyone. If God leads us to stream it, we'll do. But for now, we are not bent on streaming it. It's going to be more of depth, seeking the Lord, than social media stuff, you see. So, which I don't want to get distracted with social media activities. So I invite you from wherever you are, you can camp with us for that 7 days. There is a toilet here in church, there is a bathroom. Just let's pray out the ending of this year and internet year. Now, but if you see what she said, towards the end of last year, I sent, they were in Enugu, they were on holidays in Enugu with my wife, my whole family. I was in Enugu and I was having a retreat. And I instructed them to be praying every 3 hours. That's every 3 o'clock. You saw her say the 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock. So they were praying like that. So it was in the midst of that activity that she started seeing those visions. So even if you cannot make it for that 11 to 6, find a prayer regiment that accommodates your schedule towards the end of this year, and find an alignment with God. God wants to speak to you, and I'm sure He will do that. God bless you. Until we have another spiritual communications, not necessarily from her, because I felt going forward I'm going to be bringing on board other people that are having encounters with God and God is talking to, and we're going to be making their dealings with God open to us for our own nourishment and steering. God bless you. Until we come your way again, it's still your friend Chukwemeka Samuel, and this is again Olivia Samuel. Thank you, Olivia, for your time. God bless you.